hopefully at this point you've tried these 3 examples and now you're just checking your work, but I'm going to do them with you. My estimate here, this is about 2 times 35, and 2 times 35 is about 70, so I'm looking for my answer to be close to 70. I'm going to do the actual work underneath here, and I'm going to put the number with the most digits on top, so 2 and 45/100ths goes on top. I'm going to multiply that by 35 here. And I know that the decimal on any whole number goes after the whole number, after the ones place, so my decimal is after the 5 here. That means that I have 2 numbers after this decimal point and no numbers after this decimal point, so my answer will have 2 numbers after my decimal point. For now, I'm just going to ignore them though. 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times 4 is 20, plus 2 is 22. And 5 times 2 is 10, plus 2 is 12. Put in my 0 placeholder. 3 times 5 is 15. 1 times 3 is 12, plus 1 is 13. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7. When I add up my numbers, I'm getting 5 plus 0 is 5, 2 plus 5 is 7, 2 plus 3 is 5, and 1 plus 7 is 8. My answer has to have 2 numbers after my decimal point, and so a positive times positive is a positive answer, and I'm getting 85 and 75/100ths. That answer seems close enough to 70 that it seems reasonable. It seems like my estimate's close enough, and I'm good to go. On this next one, we have a negative times a negative, and a negative times a negative is a positive answer. So this one shouldn't be too hard. We're just going to ignore the negatives and multiply like normal. My decimal points are lined up in this problem, but they do not have to be. And so 8 times 4 is 32. 8 times 2 is 16, plus 3 is 19. Put in my 0 placeholder. 1 times 4 is 4, and 1 times 2 is 2. When I add those 2 numbers, 2 plus 0 is 2. 9 plus 4 is 13. 1 plus 1 is 2, plus 2 is 4. And after this decimal is 1 number, after this decimal is 1 number. So that means 1 plus 1 is 2 numbers after my decimal point in my answer. My answer here is 4 and 32/100ths. When I check back with my estimate, I realize that I forgot, and that's something that sometimes we accidentally do. So let's go back and make an estimate. This is about 2, about negative 2 times about negative 2, and a negative times a negative is a positive. So my estimate's about 4, and that's very close to my answer. 4 and 32/100ths seems like a good answer now that I've estimated. On this very last one, this is why it's a good idea to estimate, because when you have a negative times a negative, or negative times a positive, the answer is negative. So if you put that in your estimate first, then at the very end you won't forget your negative sign, and you'll be less likely to. So this is about negative 4 times about 1, so my answer should be close to negative 4. So now let's do the actual multiplication. 3 and 84/100ths times 0 and 9/10. 9 times 4 is 36. 9 times 8 is 72, plus 3 is 75. 9 times 3 is 27, plus 7 is 34. Bring down my 0. All of these are 0. So when I add, I still am at 3, 4, 5, 6. After this decimal point is 2 digits. After this decimal point is 1, and 2 plus 1 is 3. So my final answer is going to have 3 digits after my decimal point, which is 3 and 456 thousandths. When I go back to check and see if this is close to my estimate, I realize it's not. 3 is not close to negative 4. And so I have to rethink this as my answer here and realize, oh, a negative times a positive is a negative, and so my answer's got to be negative. And when I make this negative 3 and 456 thousandths, that does seem very close to 4 and makes my estimate seem reasonable. At the very end here, we're going to work on one more word problem together, and so we'll do that in the next video.